Once upon a time in a quaint suburban area, there lived a young boy named Jack. Jack had grown into a responsible and hard-working individual who held a full-time job from Monday to Friday. He dedicated himself to his work and took great pride in his responsibilities. However, Jack's favorite day of the week was undeniably Sunday. As the week progressed, Jack would count down the days until Sunday arrived. He cherished this day, as it was his well-deserved day off from work. On Saturdays, he would often spend time visiting friends and family, making the most of his spare time. But Sundays were special. They were his days of relaxation and indulgence in his favorite activities. In the spring and summer months, Jack loved to go climbing with his friends. He also had a passion for riding his motorbike, enjoying the wind in his hair as he explored the scenic countryside. But no matter how much fun he had on Saturdays, he always looked forward to Sunday. Sunday mornings were the highlight of Jack's week. He would laze around in bed, enjoying the luxury of not having to jump out early like on workdays. Eventually, he would make his way downstairs to the kitchen to feed his two adorable cats, who always greeted him with affectionate purrs. Jack's favorite meal of the day was a traditional English breakfast, and he took great pleasure in cooking it himself. The kitchen had been recently redecorated, making it a pleasant space to work in. He would open the fridge, take out sausages and bacon, and set them sizzling in a pan. He would pop some bread under the grill to toast to perfection and then carefully chop up some mushrooms and tomatoes for a delightful side. To top it all off, he'd whip up some scrambled eggs, seasoned to perfection. Once everything was ready, Jack would carry the feast to his patio and sit on one of the comfortable chairs, basking in the warm sunlight that shone over the hedge. It was a wonderful way to start the day and savor the taste of the delicious meal he had prepared. Jack lived in a typical English three-bedroomed semi-detached house with a long back garden. At the end of the garden, there stood an old greenhouse, which he was slowly but passionately landscaping. He planted various shrubs and flowers to attract wildlife, and he had bird feeders dotted around to welcome the beautiful birds and occasional hedgehogs. After finishing his breakfast, Jack would head back out into the garden, walking around and checking on the plants and flowers. He took great pride in maintaining this peaceful oasis. After spending some quality time with nature, he would finally come back inside and fill up his bird feeders with fresh seeds. Feeling content and mindful of the present moment, Jack would make his way back into the house. He loved to spend some quiet time reading the newspaper and listening to his favorite radio station. This peaceful ritual helped him unwind and set the tone for the rest of the day. As the clock struck noon, Jack would put on his trainers and set off for a refreshing walk. Before stepping out, he'd take a quick drink of water to keep himself hydrated during his stroll. He would take the time to appreciate the beauty of nature around him, and sometimes, he'd even bump into neighbors and friends. On special Sundays, Jack would invite his friends and family over for Sunday lunch. Before they arrived, he'd freshen up, trim his beard, and put on some aftershave. He enjoyed hosting gatherings and creating warm memories with loved ones. As the day neared its end, Jack would sit back in his favorite armchair, grateful for the delightful Sunday he had spent. The serenity of his home and garden, the joy of good food, and the company of friends and family filled his heart with happiness. It was these simple, cherished moments that made Sundays so special for Jack, a day of relaxation, mindfulness, and pure joy.